Hello everyone, and thank you for coming out tonight to support new music. I'm Tamara Cashour. Just out of curiosity, before I talk a little about my piece, how many of you have not seen any variant of the Subaru commercials upon which vignette number 10 is based? One hand, two hands, three hands. Okay. I hope you'll still get something out of this piece. The genesis of this piece was not actually that commercial. It was an essay. I do a lot of reading, as you can tell. An essay by the late German philosopher Martin Heidegger called The Question Concerning Technology. It was written in 1977, and scholars are returning to it, 21st century scholars are returning to it and writing their own papers and noting its prescience in terms of our relationship with technology today. Let's see, I have my little cheat sheet here. I knew that I wanted to write a string quartet in 2014, and my composition teacher had me listen to Beethoven's Opus 131, so I was able to eke out 10 measures, which form the first vignette that you'll see tonight. It's titled Awareness Equals Consciousness. But I couldn't get any further. And around that time, my husband and I had kind of a traumatic experience. We moved from Manhattan to Riverdale. And I missed my, very traumatic. That's very traumatic. It was for us. So I missed my home, so I took to walking back nights on these nocturnal excursions in Manhattan around my old hood. And I began noticing the piles of trash. And in these piles of trash, right, the beautiful hefty bags were often pieces of old technology. So the original title for this quartet was called Old Technologies. And just have to say this, I was up by the Manhattan School of Music one evening and I noticed a big trash pile of refuse. And as I came closer, I noticed two Xerox machines. So I just started, out of sheer habit I guess, pressing the buttons. And I'll get a few copies out of it. And I attracted a small gathering of people who thought it was an art installation. You know, no. So a little tune popped into my head and went a little bit like this. Old technologies, sitting there shooting the breeze, speaking in computeries, trying to learn Chinese. So I got those four out. So I had 10 measures of a string quartet and 4 measures of a country song, which do not a composer make. So I percolated with that a few years, and then I saw this Subaru commercial, the one I'm talking about. You are able to Google. If you Google Subaru baby driver, that's the one that affected me so deeply. So I wanted, the last thing I'll say is what I wanted to do is, I love philosophy. I wanted to be a philosopher, another huge money-making discipline. And so I keep up with my readings, but I wanted to write a piece that would engage with the culture at large, that was kind of like a performative document or artifact of critical theory or cultural critique. If any of you read in that genre, New York Review of Books, Hedgehog Review, I love that stuff. And so that's what I'm attempting to do with this piece. I ask that you do see it as an experimental piece. It's still in its experimental stages. I just want to credit the Subaru Corporation. They're a very fine corporation. They do give, I looked them up, they give some of their profits to charity. And in fact, the vignette, which will be sung by our wonderful singer-guitarist Grant Swift-Gliddens, he's playing a character named Al. So Al is owned a Subaru, and yet he lost his lady love. You'll hear that in the song. So he's offering his own cultural critique in addition to what the string quartet has to say. I can't thank these guys enough, and thank you so much for rendering my piece, and thank you to the NYCC, and I hope you like it. Thank you.
Hi y'all, I'm Al. One, two. Love is not a SUBARU. Don't believe what they tell you. Standard all-wheel drive won't keep you alive. Love is not a SUBARU. You can't trade your wheels for your soul. There's something they already stole. Believe me, they will force you to choose. Singing the turbo blues. Yeah.